yeah, Kemono Friends. We watched episodes 1, 4, and 8. So what do you guys think I thought of the show?
I hate this. This is actually, I'm gonna say this is one of the animes where I really feel like the image of me on the fucking on
podcast.
On the podcast image for the anime one is really accurate for me. I fucking hated this. But I think Spooky doesn't like it, but likes the designs in it. Sort of like, the show's not that good, but the designs and like cute girls are nice.
Middle of the road. Middle of the road.
I actually like Kemono Friends. I don't like I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I gave it like a 7. Yeah, it was just a show that I went into with 0 expectations. And I thought I didn't like it, and the more I watched it, the more I like started to enjoy it, and like by the end, like I didn't realize until like the end that I liked it. It was like in the final episodes, and I was like, yeah, no, this isn't bad.
I think there's a term for that, and I think it's Stockholm Syndrome.
You might be onto something.
Or maybe it's like sunk cost fallacy. You just like got to the end of it. Like, I spent all this time watching it. Like, there must have been a point to this. Like, it must have been good because I watched all of it.
Gam, this is the best thing that's ever happened to anime. This is the best thing that's ever happened to anime. This is the only anime now. There are no other animes.
From the worst thing that happened to anime to the best thing that happened to anime.
Yes.
Even though I would argue that Isaac's the best thing that happened to anime. But we can both agree that Ikitozen's the worst thing that's ever happened to anime.
Yes.
There's like a scale here. Yeah, there's a scale with Isaac being the best and Ikitozen being the worst. Yeah. I kind of love that, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, you want to hop into episode 1, dear?
Okay, so episode 1, there's a cat girl and she's sleeping in a tree and there's LSD in the grass, and then they jump off the tree and chase down a safari explorer person with their serval powers, and the place is called Japari Park, and she's a serval, and there was a sandstorm last night and it made everything weird and sparkly. And they're like, what animal are you? That's weird, you don't have anything. I guess you're a bag. Your name's Bag-chan. And they're like, okay. And then they go through the Sahara, and they're like, look, there's a zebra, there's a gazelle, look, that's cool, animals. And then this jelly thing shows up, and it has one eye, and they slap it, and they call it a cerulean, and it dies. And then they take a break underneath a tree because they are tired. And then we get a mid-roll animal fact, and it feels like fucking the zoo books all over again, and you learn about servals, and it's really good. And then we see Serval climbing a tree, and she's like, meow, 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 climb the tree. And they go to a watering hole, and then a hippo pops out, and she's got a big mouth, and she goes, wow, you're useless. And then they need to fend for yourself here in Japari Park. And that's right. It's the rules. Fight ceruleans. Defend yourself. Aim for the stone. Take care of yourself. I don't know when to shut up. I got a big mouth. And then they're almost at the next area. And the jungle is next door.
Hippo was saying
And yes, and then Serval hears something, and it's scary. But then it might be someone who's been screaming, and she runs away. And then they see a huge cerulean, and there's no stone, but then they realize the stone is on his back. And they're very excited, and so Bag-chan throws a paper airplane and gets its attention, and then Hippo's also here, and she's gonna do a fight, and then she leaves, and Serval is very excited about the plane and gets a whole bunch more planes made, and then they send Bag into the jungle alone, but then Serval comes along anyway, and they stop at a sign, and they're very tired, and see something coming out of the trees behind them, and it's Serval's boss. It's a fucking carbuncle thing. It's a MacGuffin. It's also known as a luck beast, and also Serval never knew it talked, and it says, hey, and then there's a post-credit sequence about 2 people that are tracking them. One is I think a finnick, and the other's like a raccoon, and they're like, there's grave danger. Oh no. And then we see the penguins, and they're an idol group, and it's great. And then that's the episode.
For a second there, I thought you hopped directly into episode 3, and I was like, or like the third episode, and I was like, I forgot that the penguins are at the end of each episode.
Yes.
Yeah, penguins are at the end of each episode talking about, hey, we're gonna eat this animal today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Real quick, if you can't
1.
tell, I am so excited. Comparatively, Gam, how are you?
Gam used to talk about my favorite episode.
Okay. I'm gonna get into why I hate this.
Okay.
It is because, I grew up on... There are a lot of Australian shows and Canadian and British shows because, you know, all 3 broadcasters shared kids programming because it was cheap. Of kind of shows like this. Shows where it was like, hey, here's a wildlife expert, or here's like a cartoon or something that's about animals and will teach kids about animals along the way. But they had a story and like basic moral things that happened each episode to teach kids. This is like nothing happens. It is like all that happens is like, okay, we're walking from A to B. There is a fight scene in the middle with something that exists because it exists, and we'll fight it because, well, we have to fight it, otherwise nothing happens. And then it's like, okay, here's a quick fact about an animal you learned this episode. This penguin likes to get fucked and then walks around with eggs. And then it's like, okay, and then like we cut to penguin girls telling us about what happened in the next episode, and then it's like we cut to some animals we've never met tracking down our main characters, and it's like, why? What is any of this? What's the stakes? What is any of this? Like, what's the story? Like, what is any of this other than just like cute girls doing cute things? Like, that's all this is.
Mm-hmm.
It's empty. It's meaningless. There's
No.
nothing.
You're wrong.
It's just glitter.
You're wrong.
And sparkles.
You're
and
wrong.
So
then what is there? What substance is there in this?
Cute girls.
Okay, so when I said there's nothing but cute girls, you were like, no, there's also cute girls.
Yeah.
This is so
There is
devoid of
animal facts. There is cute girls and designs and interesting ways that they develop animal traits like Hippo's big old mouth.
But here's the thing.
You're wrong, and you just don't know how to shut your brain off.
No, the thing is,
No.
I don't want to,
No.
like, I can
Nope.
shut my brain off.
Nope.
But this isn't,
Nope.
like... Whatever. So now they're in a truck for some reason, a bus truck thing. It's a yellow submarine. The boss is driving, it has no arms. They're in a desert, by the way. Apparently this library that they're going to find out if the human is a human is just past the desert. And then the robot dies for some reason because it's hot, or the bus gets stuck or something. The bus gets stuck, and then suddenly they get out and push it, and the bus is no longer stuck. Phew, we're scared. And then suddenly there's a new character there who helped him out, and it's a Sandcat. And then Sandcat, like every other character, is like, what the fuck is this human? The human's like, I don't know. I'm a bag. And then they're like, ow, the bus ground is hot. And then the Sandcat's like, no, it's not. And then the robot's like, animal fact. And then we learned that Sandcat is dumb and has a low attention span. And then we find out what they actually eat in this world, and it's like just weird nutrient buns.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Doesn't need to.
I mean, it kind of does when they bring attention to it. So, and then they're like, oh, hey, we're in this cave that the Sandcat brought us to. And then they're like, the Sandcat goes, hey, do you want to explore this hole more? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then they find a hole, and they're like, wow. And then the robot's like, hey, you could go this way to go to the library if you want. Then the ground wouldn't be hot. They're like, oh, but the hole's, like, too small for the bus. And the Sandcat's like, I'll make it bigger. And then the Sandcat makes it bigger. And they're like, oof, that was a close one. And then they're like, okay, let's drive. And then Sandcat's like, I'm bored, see yous. And then they say goodbye. And then they're like, okay, now we're in an underground labyrinth of some sort, and the bus dude's like, I'll see you all on the other side. And they're like, what? And he's like, don't think about it. And then they're inside, and they're like, oh, and then the door shuts behind him, and then there's Tsuchinoko, who we learn is just deer.
Yeah.
They're angry, they're shouting, they call everyone a jerk, they try to fight everyone. And they're like, okay, cool, Tsuchinoko is going to guide us through the underground ruins. And then it's like, okay, we learn a little bit about them, and then it's like, oh, they have infrared vision, they can see the ceruleans through the wall. And then the serval cat goes up to a wall and goes like, oh, see, they're behind a wall, they're not going to get us, don't worry, I'm stupid. And then they burst through the wall, and they're like, oh no, we're being chased. And then they run across the bridge, and it's like, oh no, the bridge is collapsing under the weight of the ceruleans. And they're like, oh, if we were on there, we would have died. Anyway, oh hey, a coin. It would have... Money can be exchanged for goods and services. And then they're like, oh no, the exit is blocked by, solidified lava.
Yeah.
And then the human looks around and is like, hey, there's an exit sign. And they're like, what? And the human's like, yeah, I think this is a symbol of some sort. And then they follow it to the exit by falling through a wall, because that's how you design
a maze.
A maze in zoo. You build a wall for the exit. Okay.
It was like an emergency exit, to be fair.
I guess.
Just make hidden.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh hey, we're outside and we're in a different place now. And the lucky boss dude just like rides up and he's like, beep beep, I'm your Uber driver. They're like, wait, how did you get here before us? Like, you couldn't get through because it was underground. He's like, I just drove around. Like, you could have avoided this entire episode by just driving around. And then they were like, okay, well, let's continue. And Tsuchinoko's like, I'm only allowed to be in one episode. Goodbye. And then that's the end of the episode.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there was really good fight music.
Yeah, for some reason, the only
music.
good thing I like about this show is the fight music. I would like the character designs if they didn't have human ears.
Yeah.
But they have human ears, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's a really weird choice that I can't get behind.
It's a trope that
so
I'm
it's
not
like-
a fan of either.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't even really like the designs or the characters. It's like, oh, that's a neat character, but it's like, I don't like it enough to think the show is okay or anything.
However,
it's like, this is
background
Oh.
music was designed and orchestrated
However,
by
yeah.
Skrillex.
Yeah, we found
Yeah.
out that the background music was orchestrated by Skrillex, famed composer of the
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts 3 intro song.
It's true.
Um,
Skrillex is very well known.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty neat music. It doesn't really fit the show.
No.
But-
It's fine.
Whatever. This show is incredibly cheap. There are so, like, not just animation errors, but, like, there are, like, frozen frames where they just
Yeah.
couldn't afford to, like, animate things. There's, like,
Mhm.
flying characters don't actually, like, fly.
So-
They just get dragged around by, like, the editor.
So I found out, doing a little bit of research, that not only did this have extremely low budget, it was also made by only 10 people over 500, or wait, was it 500 days? I think it was 500 days. So,
No wonder they took shortcuts. They were fucking crunching.
yeah.
It is... This to me is like, there are legitimately segments in this show where I'm like, the animation quality in this is like an animatic. Like, this is the first pass that you show to your producer to be like, hey, this is what the show's gonna be. Like, can we get the go ahead to have the second pass and like go do the actual animation for this? But like, it's what they actually released, and it's like, oh, okay. But the backgrounds look amazing. It's just the characters don't.
I wouldn't say
unbelievable in the
amazing.
background.
I was gonna
Just
say, I
they
wouldn't
look
say
better than
amazing.
the characters.
They look
Contrasted
okay.
with the characters. Contrasted with the characters, they look amazing.
Mhm.
But the characters are so weirdly not poorly animated, but so not animated that they don't. I don't believe that they're on those backgrounds. Like, they break. Like, plain rules frequently when it comes to, like, characters moving. Like, character will move closer to the screen, and by that they'll move, like, left, but they don't actually grow bigger. Like, they're breaking basic dimensional rules here, and it's like, this is...
Yeah.
This is crap.
I mean, they had zero budget, they had 10 people, and it was also
no one would give a shit about this.
I mean, you're totally not wrong is the thing. They had, and I know that Gam's gonna react to this comment, but they had a pretty good director, which we'll get into more in a little bit. And I mean, its target audience is like kids. It's like an educational here, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like it does like an okay job with that. Like with the Sandcat, it's like nearly every bit of dialogue with the Sandcat is either like, it's like a 50-50, whether it's like, it's just meaningless something cute dialogue, or it's like a little piece of tidbit about like the Sandcat.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not that bad as an educational show, but it doesn't go far enough to where you can like go, oh, watch this, it's a really good educational anime. It's like,
yeah,
no
I think it's more like
for the educational content.
To pique kids' interest, right?
Yeah, it's more to like pique kids' interest, but like my thing is like, I would not call this an educational anime.
Yeah,
I would call it like, the educational tidbits are in there to lengthen the episodes and to make it seem like there's a point to it other than just the cute girls.
Do I like when... Is it... Does the fact that I like when TV shows treat me like I'm 5 because I wasn't ever a 5-year-old?
Oh, I fucking hate that. Yeah. I hate media that insults my intelligence. Yes.
So...
But this doesn't even treat you like it's 5, because it isn't that educational. It's like...
To you, I learned some things.
No, here's the thing. Like, I learned some things here, but it's like, the main focus of the anime very clearly isn't learning things about these animals. Yeah. It's about meeting these animals.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not
it's literally like just a trip to the zoo, and you're just like
it's
not
like saying,
like looking at the signs.
That's the point.
Like
it's the trip
Hetalia
to the zoo.
is an educational anime because it teaches you about World War II.
No,
like,
wait.
No.
What Deer said is actually pretty spot on, though. It's supposed to be like a kind of just a trip to the zoo.
Yeah, and it's like no one goes to the zoo to learn.
So
they go to the zoo to see the cute animals.
Here's the thing with this, though, too, and I think part of the reason why it caught on so much...
cute girls.
No, I mean that, but... Like I said about actually having a good director is and you didn't get to see it. I tried to find a way to like fit shit in. There's no way to do it in a 3-episode count because it's like very subtle. But you know how like, with shows like Adventure Time, how there will be things happening and in the background you see like, oh, that's interesting. There's like a broken chunk of like a modern world thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This actually does that, and there's like a weird, back, like a plot that's like kind of in the background happening. And
I was wondering if there was something like that because it's like very clear that there's like, I don't want to say dystopian, but it's very clear
it is definitely like dystopian.
Happened.
Yes.
Like, something has happened. Like, I didn't want to give it that much credit and say it was, like, a deliberate dystopian. Like,
no,
it's actually saying something deep, but it's like, yeah, something very clearly has happened to this world, and it's like, it's not... But
it, like, talks about how, like, the humans have been eradicated,
everywhere.
except for the ones that escaped, hence the... Because at the end, like, the first episode, they were like, wow, you didn't get annihilated, just kind of offhand. And then the penguins are like, the last time I saw people that, like, humans were at the harbor, implying they, like, sailed away from the park. And sadly, we never get the full story behind it, because...
Oh, did it get cancelled?
No, there's a season 2, they fired the director, because they didn't like those undertones, and he wanted to do them more.
Oh, they didn't like that it had a story?
Yes.
They didn't like that the anime had a story.
Yeah, they didn't like...
They didn't like that the anime had a story.
Yeah, they wanted it to be more kid-friendly. And literally, the entire like the entire, like a large portion, if not the entire cast, walked out with the director. Like, they were like, oh no, if he's not part of this, then we're not a part of this either, fuck you, and left. So that's pretty cool. There's the reason I've never seen season 2 of Kemono Friends.
I 100 and fucking 10% reject that claim that it's like, this is not kid friendly.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it's one of those, any of the darker themes would be things that
like,
adults would pick up on, but not kids. You know?
Yeah, plus also, like treating it like, oh, kids, like, this is too dark for kids.
Right.
It's like, no, it's not.
Right.
It's really not. Like, the way they're presenting it is it's a decent way of presenting a dystopian type narrative to kids, even though it's, like, not actually what the show's about.
Right.
But it's like, there's something there. It's like, this is how you do it. It's like, it's not like a horror anime or anything. It's
right.
like, no, this is just something that happened and you're watching the aftermath. But it's like, fuck off, kids. You need to give kids more credit.
Right. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. That's the reason people liked it a lot, right? It was like, here's the designs, here's like a cool subplot. And then they just squandered that with season 2, even though season 2 looks a little bit better. Shocking. Season 2 is really not great. Which, if we don't mind, I can tell you, I watched the first 15 minutes of season 2, episode 1. No, it has cute girls in it. No, is it cool if I just say the beginning of season 2 really quick? Just episode 1, the first half?
Do it.
Literally...
Like, do you care?
Oh, yeah, do you care, dear?
I'm taking my headphones off.
Okay.
Okay, dear's taking it. Well, I'll at you in Discord when you put it back on, dear.
Yeah. So, spoiler warning for the first 15 minutes of episode 1 of season 2. I have to say the ending of season 1 is they go, Kaban and Serval decide, hey, we're gonna go off on, like, this raft, and we're gonna cross the water, and we're gonna try to find the humans, right?
Yeah.
So, the beginning, because the voice actors left, so they replaced Serval's, but they didn't replace Kaban's, and I think they wanted to just kind of trash the subplot anyway. So the beginning is literally Serval, and she's like, there used to be someone that I traveled with. I can't remember much about her anymore, and they just introduce a new main character.
Oh my fucking god.
It's so bad. I was instantly just like, fuck this. Like,
that is, like, it's like they didn't want this show, like, they knew the only thing about this show that anyone gave a shit about was the cute girls. So it's like, take everything else out, you're wasting resources and time and money on everything else, just focus on the cute girls.
Yeah, and it's crazy because this show went from 0 budget, 10 people working on it, whatever. The only reason they got a season 2 is because the director was fucking great, and they fired him, and then just changed shit. And it's like, why? Why would you do... Like, the show literally ended up being one of the biggest shows of the year, had extreme success, blew up all over Japan, all over the US, went fucking crazy, everyone loved it, and then that's what they did. So, I mean, it was pretty cool.
I mean, I could point to the fact of, like, yeah, of course it did, because, like, all you had to sustain the show on was cute girls. Like, if there's no substance to the show, it's gonna fucking fall apart real quick, especially if you treat the show like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should probably let Dear come back in, shouldn't we? God, it's just, makes me fucking... the fact that I was, like, the fact that I've been, like, proven right in that all they cared about, like, all they knew anyone cared about was the cute girls is like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, okay, I'm right, and I fucking hate that I'm right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I loved...
No, I'm not talking about season 2 stuff, I'm talking about just, like, in general, like, the fucking show production.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. The director of season 1 put care into it and definitely set up an interesting thing that, in the last few episodes, they touch on a lot more. And then it was supposed to be touched on more, but he got fired. So it was pretty cool. Anyway, we still have another episode to talk about.
We do.
We have to.
Well,
Yes!
no, yeah, we have to, because then we can talk about Grape-kun, and that's the main reason I showed
true.
you guys
That's
this
the only
show.
thing I give
I wanted to
a
talk
shit
about Grape-kun
in
on the
this
podcast.
entire show. The only thing I give a shit about is Grape-kun.
Yes. So let's talk about episode 8.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're in the waterfront area, and there's a lot of water here. There's also a concert with a lot of friends here, and the stage is all super well built, and they're ready for a PPP show, or PPP show, and they also see another boss here with more buns for people to eat, and then there's like this moment where they climb up a tree, and then we see Spooky, because it's fucking Margay, and she's a giant fucking weeb who likes cute girls. And apparently Serval's tickets...
With glasses.
Yes. And like bob haircut. Serval's ticket is a platinum ticket. That means that they can go meet the PPPP girls in person. And then PP comes out, and they're so fucking cute. They're fucking penguins. It's Grape-kun's wife. And just about then, we don't get to see the concert, though. They're all idols, and the Emperor Penguin girl passes out, and she's the cutest one. While another thinks about round rocks and eggs, and then they think about how a year ago things happened, and then they're practicing, and one of them's bossy, and then they're practicing even more, and then the Margay comes in and goes, "Hey, this is what I sound like. I'm a fucking penguin." And they're like, "How are you mimicking our voice?" And they're like, "Margays mimic voices to bring in prey and eat them." And then info about penguins.
And then we joked about, like, after they tell you that fact, they cut back to all of them, and one of the penguins is just missing.
Yeah.
Because Margay ate them.
Margay is, like, wiping some blood away from her lip.
Yeah. So everyone's practicing more, and then they're all super nervous, but Margay's super excited. She's a super devoted fan and tells them all about what they were like in their previous lives. Their previous iterations? I don't know. And then they were like, actually, there were only 4 of you. And they're like, what the fuck are you on about? And she's like, I don't understand what you're talking about. It's like, there's always been a princess penguin in the group. I'm better than all of you. And leaves. And she's really upset. So then the other 4 penguins go out on stage, and Bengal goes after the princess penguin. And apparently she's afraid of the stage, and she always felt this way, because there was never a royal penguin in the group, and she's worked super hard to be here. Mood. And then she was so mean that she can't go back, so Bengal just fucking picks her up and carries her. And PPP is struggling to start the concert, and is talking about the princess to cheer her on to come back. And then Princess Bengal and so on are up in a tree watching, and she's like, oh, they're fine without me. And then they're like, it's all because of Princess Penguin. And they're like, yay! And then Margay takes over the mic and speaks up and mimics her voice, and she's like, I'm gonna tell you all what to do. Let's sing! And then they do an actual performance, and I loved it. And then they talk about themselves a little bit, and then they perform their next song, which is the intro to the show, which is Welcome to Chapari Park. And then the whole park is apparently surrounded by water, and Margay is now their manager, even though she got a promotion, even though she never worked for them. And that's a thing. And then they're like, hey, look, I hear you're looking for humans. I'm a human, I think. Go to the harbor. And they're like, okay. And then that's the episode.
They actually say something about humans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I know you weren't. I don't give a fuck. The most important fucking thing, though, is that in the post-credit sequence, Raccoon and Finnick find a soccer ball because Moose, Lion, and Shoebill are all playing soccer together, and I finally get to see fucking Moose, and it was great. And then that was it. That was the episode.
Yeah.
And we were finally.
But now we get to talk about Grape-kun.
Now we can talk about Grape-kun.
Yes. So, listeners, if you don't know about Grape-kun, Google Grape-kun right now. Do yourself a favor. Grape-kun was a...
Welcome back.
Yeah. There was a promotion at a Japanese zoo where they put up little cardboard standees of the characters and the displays, like, with the animal they were based on. And Grape-kun is a penguin who was in a relationship with another penguin, and she left him for another man. because these penguins are normally monogamous. And Grape Coon...
don't they usually mate for life?
Yes, and
Yes.
Grape Coon was very sad. It's very rare that this happens. So they put the Hururu cardboard standee in Grape Coon's pen, and he fell in love with her and would just stare at her all day.
Yeah, was it like a promotional thing that they did it, or was it just like on a whim that they put the Hururu?
It was promotional. They had it through the whole zoo, like with all the different animals.
Okay.
And then when the promotion was over, they moved the stand, and Grape Coon got really sad and wouldn't eat anymore. So then they brought it back so Grape Coon could have his waifu. And Grape Coon was an old penguin, and sadly passed away. But in his life, he got to meet a Hururu cosplayer. He got to meet the voice actress. And then when he passed away, he was like with the waifu, and that happened. And then they made a new stand with her and Grape Coon to put in the display. It's fucking
really
cute.
It's really
It's
good.
the cutest shit ever. Like, I wish I could have, like... I want to meet Grape Coon. I'm actually very upset that I'll never get to. I'm his biggest fan.
Oh,
I'm his biggest fan.
Yeah. I'm his biggest fan. It's my favorite part of the show. It's not even part of the show. But
so
anyway.
Cam.
Listen,
Yeah. Let's...
I'm giving this a 2 only because of Grape Coon. Literally, the only thing that stops this being a 0 for me is the story of Grape Coon and Hululu. Literally, if that never happened, I would have been like, I never want to fucking think about this show ever again. And if anyone brings it up to me, I'll be like, fuck off. But no, the only thing Grape Coon, adorable. Everything about that story is depressingly adorable.
Yeah.
But this show is awful. This is like peak lazy pandering anime where it's like all we need to do is focus on cute girls, because we know if we just have cute girls, no one will give a shit about anything in this show, because all you need is cute girls. Jangle the keys in front of the screen. Jangle the keys. There they are. Don't the keys look pretty? And then that's it. That's all you need for a show. And it's like, I fucking hate that.
Dear.
10? Thought so.
I also, fuck you, I do not need keys dangled in front of me. No.
But if I did, you would like it. You would go, ooh.
Would I?
Yeah.
Would I?
You'd go, oh.
Uh-huh. It's one of those things, it's the same exact reason why I really like Heaven's Design Team, that I've been watching that with Spooky kind of on the side. And honestly, it is just one of those things where I'm just like, I'm gonna learn a little bit about animals, because I mentioned this to them earlier, but I was very much so the kid that wanted to be a vet, wanted to work for zoos, wanted to know about every kind of animal, wanted to be a safari, like I'd go out and be a biologist in the safari Sahara, and Cam?
What?
Sorry, I just sent a picture of deer of a YouTube video. That's 10 hours of key jingling.
God damn it.
Oh,
And that was
amazing.
just like everything I wanted to be, right? And so this just kind of hits all of those same marks for me, and I'm just happy to watch it, in all honesty. And I don't need story. God damn it, Cam. I don't need story. I am happy with just having some animal facts and some cute girls, and I'm gonna just be nothing. I'm not even gonna think for 30 minutes.
Unless
And
watching this show, that's obvious.
Fuck off. I had so much goddamn fun. I was like smiling from ear to ear watching this entire show. Spooky was literally laughing at what I was fucking doing.
Yeah, Yeah, Deer. I knew Deer was gonna like the show. I didn't realize the extent of how much Deer was gonna like the show.
You also have to keep in mind, I literally have an entire bucket list that is just go around the world and the United States and see different zoos. That's it. That's my bucket list. I'm good.
Fair.
I just want to go to the zoo and see cute animals.
Well, now you saw Joffrey Park, so...
I wouldn't go to every zoo.
No, I'm not going to go to every zoo.
Visit me and come to the zoo with me.
I am 100% going to watch this in my free time.
Yeah, do it, for sure.
110%. And I don't know if that's a good thing.
No, it's not.
But I am here for it.
Hey, if you like it, you like it, and that's fantastic. Like, I enjoy Kemono Friends. It's not one of my favorites, but I think it's a good watch. I think it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I don't want to be on this podcast anymore.
Alright, you're kicked off then. Spooky, we're gonna start a new podcast.
Wait. Damn, no.
This is the now we're just gonna watch shonen anime podcast.
No.
Yes.
Damn, no.
Yes.
Listen,
yep,
no, because happening. I realized that I have to suffer in this podcast too.
You said the show was good.
Yeah, I had to rewatch all of Vicky Tozen.
Oh no. So we're gonna start by watching One Piece.
No.
That's what you get, Spooky.
I did say never One Piece. That was a stipulation.
That is true.
If we ever watched it together.
We did agree to that.
I'm not wasting literal years of my life watching One Piece.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah.
I legitimately
show.
went from being like in a bad mood to like in a really good mood.
Well, I'm glad.
I went from being in a tired mood to like a really tired mood. I have never wanted to just go to bed more until right now.
It's funny because like I expected Deer to like the. I was like, oh, Deer's gonna like this a lot. Gam's probably gonna dislike this, at least to, I don't know. Basically, you both blew my expectations out of the water. I didn't think Gam was gonna hate this so much. I didn't think Deer was gonna love this so much. So it's really fucking funny.
Yeah. No.
So.
If you have not ever listened to the commentary the podcast, whatever. Pod chat. Yeah. The commentary track with this podcast, I urge you, I implore you to go listen and watch along with us for this
just listen to
fucking show.
I think we all, like, because for me, that commentary track is the After the Rain one, because I think you guys' reaction is I go back and rewatch with it. It's fucking hilarious. This is one that I might actually go back and rewatch with, too, though. Just to hear Deer, like, I am smiling so much, my face fucking hurts.
It's true. I did. Oh. Listen,
yeah, any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? I never want to hear about this show ever again.
But I want to go to the zoo.
That's my only thoughts. I want to go to the zoo.
That's fair.
Spooky, let's go to the zoo. I'm gonna come to Chicago. We could go see Balto and then we'll go to the zoo.
Did you just say Chicago?
Sorry, Ohio.
Wait, Chicago?
Okay, on that note, goodbye everyone.
Goodbye. We'll be live from Alaska next week.